When you're young, a year feels like forever. Summer vacation stretches endlessly. Christmas seems impossibly far away. You wait and wait and wait for things. Then something changes. I'm 94 years old. My name is Margaret. I've been alive since 1931. I remember the Great Depression. I remember World War II. I remember when a loaf of bread cost a nickel and you could leave your door unlocked at night. And I'm here to tell you something that no one warned me about, something I didn't truly understand until it was too late to do anything about it. Time doesn't move at the same speed your whole life. When you're young, it crawls. When you're old, it sprints. And the transition happens so gradually, so quietly, that you don't notice it until you're sitting in a chair at 94, looking back at decades that feel like they passed in an afternoon. The last 30 years of my life went faster than my first 60, significantly faster. And I need you to understand what that means, what it feels like, and what you should be doing right now before it happens to you, because it will happen to you. The mathematics of disappearing time. I was born in December 1931. By the time I turned 10, those 10 years felt enormous. I could remember so much: learning to walk, starting school, my grandmother's house, the smell of my mother's cooking, playing in the backyard, the first time I rode a bicycle. 10 years was a lifetime. From age 10 to 20, those years were packed. High school, my first job, meeting boys, the war ending, my father coming home, learning to drive, my first kiss, college. Those 10 years felt full, stretched, detailed. From 20 to 30, marriage, children, buying our first house, raising babies, sleepless nights, birthday parties. Another decade that felt appropriately long. From 30 to 40, more children, career changes, moving to a bigger house, family vacations, school plays, teenage drama. Still long, still full. But then something started to shift. From 40 to 50, the years began to blur. I was busy. Work, children, aging parents, responsibilities. The days were full, but they started blending together. From 50 to 60, it accelerated. My children left home. My parents died. My husband retired. The house got quieter. And time, which used to move like a river, started moving like a waterfall. And then from 60 to 94, those 34 years feel like maybe a decade, maybe less. I blinked and I was 70. I blinked and I was 80. I blinked and I was 90. Why this happens? For years, I didn't understand why time was speeding up. I thought maybe it was just me. Maybe I was losing my mind. Maybe aging was playing tricks on my perception. But it's not just me. It's everyone, and there's a reason for it. When you're young, everything is new. Your brain is constantly processing novel experiences. The first day of school, the first time you fall in love, the first time you drive a car. Your brain records these moments in detail because they're new, they're important, they're different. New experiences create strong memories. And when you look back, those strong memories make time feel long. But when you're old, very little is new. You've been to 100 birthday parties. You've had 1,000 meals. You've driven the same route to the grocery store 5,000 times. Your brain stops recording the details because there's nothing new to record. And when you look back, those years collapse into nothing because there are no strong memories holding them apart. I can remember my wedding day in 1952 with perfect clarity. I can tell you what dress I wore, what flowers I carried, what the weather was like, what song we danced to. It was a Saturday in June. The church was small, maybe 80 people. My dress was ivory satin with lace sleeves. My bouquet was white roses and baby's breath. Robert wore a dark gray suit. We danced to Unforgettable by Nat King Cole, but I cannot tell you what I did last Tuesday, or the Tuesday before that, or most of the Tuesdays in the last 10 years. They're gone. Not because I have dementia, not because I'm losing my mind, but because my brain didn't bother recording them. There was nothing new, nothing worth remembering. The decade that vanished. Let me give you a specific example. In 2005, I was 74 years old. My husband Robert was still alive. We were healthy, active, enjoying retirement. We traveled a little. We saw our grandchildren. We had a routine. We'd wake up at 7 in the morning. Robert would make coffee. I'd make toast. We'd read the newspaper together. Then we'd take a walk around the neighborhood. Every day, the same routine. For years, in 2015, I was 84. Robert had been dead for 3 years. I'd had a mild stroke. I'd moved out of our house into a smaller apartment. My daughter was managing most of my affairs. Those 10 years, from 74 to 84, should have felt significant. They contained enormous changes: the decline and death of my husband, the loss of my home, a stroke, the loss of my independence. But when I think about those years, they feel like maybe 18 months, maybe 2 years at most. I can remember specific days. The day Robert died, February 14th, 2012, Valentine's Day. He collapsed in the kitchen while making coffee. The paramedics came, but there was nothing they could do. Massive heart attack. He was 82. I remember the day I had the stroke. June 3rd, 2013. I was at the grocery store. I reached for a can of soup, and my left arm wouldn't move. Then I couldn't speak. A stranger called 911. I remember the day we sold the house, October 22nd, 2013. My daughter Susan helped me pack. We stood in the empty living room and cried. But the years in between, gone, completely gone. Robert and I had breakfast together maybe 3,000 times during those years. We took maybe 2,000 walks. We watched thousands of hours of television together, and I can't remember any of it. Not specifically. It all blurs into one long gray nothing. And now looking back, an entire decade of my life feels like it barely happened. What I wish I'd known in my 60s, if I could go back to my 60-year-old self, sitting in that house in 1991, here's what I would tell her. Margaret, the time you have left is going to feel much shorter than you think. Not because you're going to die soon, but because your perception of time is about to accelerate in ways you cannot imagine. You think you have decades. You think retirement is the beginning of something. You think you finally have time to do all the things you've been putting off. You don't. The next 30 years are going to feel like 10. And if you don't actively fight against the acceleration, if you don't intentionally create new experiences, new memories, new moments worth recording, those years are going to vanish. I spent my 60s and 70s in a comfortable routine. Robert and I had our favorite restaurant. We went there every Friday night for 15 years. Same table, same waiter, same meals. We had our favorite TV shows. We watched them religiously, never missed an episode. We had our favorite walking route, around the block, down Maple Street, past the park, back home. We walked it maybe 5,000 times. We saw the same people, did the same things, lived the same predictable, comfortable life, and it all disappeared. If I could do it again, I would have broken the routine constantly. I would have said yes to things that scared me. I would have traveled more. Even when it was inconvenient, I would have learned new skills, tried new hobbies, met new people, not because those things are inherently valuable, but because newness creates memories, and memories are what make time feel real. Robert wanted to go to Alaska in 1998. He'd always wanted to see the glaciers, the wildlife, the mountains. He showed me brochures. He talked about taking a cruise. I said no. I said it was too expensive. I said we could go next year or the year after that. We never went. And now Robert is gone and Alaska is still there and I will never see it. That's the kind of regret I'm talking about. Not the big dramatic mistakes, but the small decisions to play it safe, to stick with the routine, to wait for a better time. There is no better time. The acceleration is not linear. Here's what nobody tells you. The acceleration doesn't stop. It keeps getting faster. From 60 to 70 felt fast. From 70 to 80 felt faster. From 80 to 90 felt like I barely had time to catch my breath. And from 90 to 94, these last 4 years, they feel like maybe 6 months. I turned 90 in December 2021. That feels like last year, but it was 4 years ago. 4 years, 1,460 days. And it feels like maybe 200. I don't know what next year will feel like. I don't know if I'll make it to 95, but if I do, I suspect that year will feel like a week. This is terrifying. This is what no one warns you about. You don't just lose time because you're running out of it. You lose time because your brain stops recording it, and by the time you realize what's happening, 20 years have passed, and you can't account for any of them. The friends who disappeared. I had a group of close friends in my 60s. We called ourselves the Garden Club, though we rarely gardened. Mostly we met for lunch, gossiped, complained about our husbands, shared recipes. There were 7 of us, me, Dorothy, Helen, Barbara, Susan, Patricia, and June. We met every month for almost 20 years. Dorothy died in 2001. Heart attack, she was 70. Helen died in 2006. Cancer. She was 75. Barbara died in 2011. Stroke. She was 80. Susan moved away in 2013 to live with her daughter in Arizona. I haven't seen her since. Patricia died in 2017. Alzheimer's complications. She was 86. June is still alive, but she's in a nursing home with advanced dementia. The last time I visited her, she didn't recognize me. I am the only one left. 7 women, decades of friendship, and now I'm alone. And when I think about those friendships, when I try to remember all the lunches we had, all the conversations, all the years we spent together, it feels like maybe 5 or 6 good memories. That's it. 20 years of monthly gatherings, reduced to a handful of moments. The rest is gone. What you should be doing right now, if you're reading this and you're in your 50s, 60s, or even 70s, here's what you need to understand. You still have time, but not as much as you think, and it's going to move faster than you can imagine. So stop waiting. Stop putting things off. Stop telling yourself you'll do it next year, or when you retire, or when you have more money, or when the timing is better. The timing is never better. And next year is going to arrive in what feels like 3 months. Do the thing you've been putting off. Take the trip, learn the language, start the hobby, reconnect with the old friend, have the conversation you've been avoiding, not because you might die tomorrow, although you might, but because if you don't do it now, the years are going to slip past you so fast that you'll look up one day and realize it's too late. Create new memories intentionally. Here's the practical advice. You have to actively fight against the acceleration by creating new experiences. Your brain records novelty, so be intentional about seeking it out. If you always go to the same restaurant, go somewhere new. If you always take the same vacation, go somewhere you've never been. If you always see the same people, meet someone new. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't have to climb Everest or move to Paris, but you do have to break the routine. You have to give your brain something new to record. I have a great granddaughter. Her name is Emma. She's 12 years old. Last month she came to visit me and she asked if I wanted to try a video game she likes. I'm 94 years old. I've never played a video game in my life. I didn't even know how to hold the controller, but I said yes, and we spent 2 hours playing this game together. I was terrible at it. Emma was very patient. We laughed. I asked questions. She explained things to me, and I remember that afternoon perfectly. Every detail. What Emma was wearing, what we talked about, the way she smiled when I finally figured out how to make the character jump because it was new, because it was different, because my brain actually bothered to record it. That's what you need to do. Not necessarily video games, but new things, things that make your brain wake up and pay attention. The painful truth about regret. I've lived long enough to watch people die with very different kinds of regrets. Some people regret big decisions, the marriage they shouldn't have ended, the career they didn't pursue, the risk they didn't take, but most people don't regret the big things. They regret the time they wasted. They regret the years they spent waiting, the decades they spent comfortable and safe and bored, the countless ordinary days they let slip past without ever really living them. My husband Robert died in 2012. We were married 60 years. 60 years, that's 21,900 days. And when I think about those 60 years, I can remember maybe 200 specific days, maybe 300 if I really push myself. Our wedding day, the day each of our children were born, the day we bought our first house, the day Robert's father died, our 25th anniversary, our 50th anniversary, vacations, holidays, birthdays. But that means I've forgotten 21,600 days we spent together, almost 22,000 days. Gone, vanished, as if they never happened. And that breaks my heart in ways I can't fully express, because I know we had good days. I know we had conversations and meals and walks and moments. I know we laughed and talked and lived together, but I can't remember most of it. And now he's gone and I can't get any of it back. I would give anything to remember just one more ordinary Tuesday with Robert, just one more breakfast together, one more walk, one more evening sitting on the couch watching television. But I can't. Those days are gone, and I didn't appreciate them when I had them because I thought there would always be more. Time is not fair. When you're young, you have time but no wisdom. You waste years on things that don't matter. You spend energy on people who don't deserve it. You worry about problems that won't matter in 5 years. When you're old, you have wisdom but no time. You finally understand what matters, but your body is failing. Your friends are gone, and the years are moving so fast you can't hold on to them. It's not fair. It's cruel, actually, but it's how it works for everyone. The only advantage you have is this: if you're reading this and you're not yet 80, you still have a chance to do something about it. You can't slow down time. You can't stop the acceleration, but you can fill the time you have left with moments worth remembering. You can break the routine. You can say yes to new things. You can take the trip. You can have the conversation. You can live intentionally instead of just existing. The visits that don't come. I have 3 children. David is 68. Susan is 65. Michael is 62. They're good children. They love me. They call regularly. They visit when they can, but they're busy. They have their own lives, their own problems, their own routines. David visits every 2 weeks. He comes on Sunday afternoons. He stays for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We sit in my small living room. He asks how I'm feeling. I say I'm fine. He tells me about his week. Then he has to go. Susan visits once a month, usually on a Saturday. She brings groceries. She checks my medications. She asks if I need anything. We talk for a while, then she leaves. Michael lives in California. He visits maybe 3 or 4 times a year. He stays for a few hours. We have lunch. We look at old photos. We talk about the past. Then he has to catch his flight back. And every visit feels the same. The same small talk, the same questions, the same updates. From my perspective, those visits blend together. I can't remember what we talked about last time versus 3 months ago versus last year. It all collapses into one long, blurry conversation, and I know they love me. I know they're doing their best, but I also know that when I die, they're going to wish they'd visited more. They're going to wish they'd stayed longer. They're going to wish they'd really talked to me instead of just going through the motions. And the tragic thing is, I wish that too, but I don't say it because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to guilt them. I don't want to be the needy old mother who demands more time. So I just sit here and watch the years disappear. What 94 feels like. People ask me what it's like to be 94. I feel confused about where the time went. I feel angry that I wasted so much of it. I feel terrified that I might live another 5 years, and they'll feel like 5 months. My body hurts. My knees don't work right. I need a cane to walk. I can't hear well, even with hearing aids. I forget names constantly. I move slowly. I get tired easily. But that's not the hard part. I expected my body to fail. Everyone's body fails eventually. The hard part is the acceleration, the feeling that time is slipping through my fingers faster and faster, and there's nothing I can do to slow it down. I go to bed on Monday, and I wake up and it's Thursday. I blink and it's next week. I turn around and another month is gone, another season, another year. And I'm running out. I know I'm running out, and I can feel it speeding up. What I want you to do, I'm not telling you this to depress you. I'm telling you this because someone should have told me. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you probably think you have 20 or 30 good years left, and maybe you do. But those years are not going to feel like 20 or 30 years. They're going to feel like 10. Maybe less, so stop acting like you have unlimited time. Stop putting things off. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment was 10 years ago. The second best moment is right now. Call the person you've been meaning to call. Take the trip you've been talking about. Start the project you've been postponing. Forgive the grudge you've been holding. Do it now. Not next month. Not next year. Now. Because next year is coming faster than you think. And the year after that will come even faster. And one day you're going to be sitting where I'm sitting, looking back at decades that feel like they barely happened, wondering where it all went. The calendar on my wall. I have a calendar on my wall. Every morning, I cross off the previous day with a red pen. I've been doing this for years. It helps me keep track of time, helps me remember what day it is, but lately, I've noticed something disturbing. It feels like I'm crossing off days faster than they're passing. Like I just crossed off Monday and suddenly it's Thursday and I don't remember Tuesday or Wednesday happening. The days are disappearing and I can't stop it. I'll be 95 in December. If I make it to December, and I know that the months between now and then are going to feel like weeks, and if I make it to 96, that year will feel even shorter. Eventually, I'll run out of days to cross off. And when that happens, I want to be able to say I did something with the time I had, but I'm not sure I can say that. My final message: I'm 94 years old. I've lived through nearly a century of change. I've seen wars and peace, poverty and prosperity, love and loss. And the one thing I wish I'd understood earlier, the one lesson I wish someone had taught me when I still had time to do something about it, is this: time moves faster. As you age, much faster, exponentially faster. And by the time you realize it's happening, it's already too late to slow it down. The last 30 years of my life went faster than my first 60. And if you live long enough, the same thing will happen to you. So don't wait. Don't put things off. Don't assume you have time. You don't have as much time as you think, and it's going to move faster than you can imagine. Live now. Do it now. Say it now, because later comes faster than you think. And when you're sitting where I'm sitting, looking back at decades that feel like they passed in a moment, you're going to wish you'd listened. I'm tired now. My hands hurt. My eyes are getting heavy. But I needed to tell you. I needed to warn you. Don't make my mistakes. Don't waste your time. Don't wait for someday. Someday is today. And today is already almost over.